Welcome, folks. Episode 654. I forgot to put my banner up, and I forget what damn day it is, of the Boxing Asylum Nuthouse podcast. You can catch us every day or every Sunday at 1 o'clock in the UK, or excuse me, at 8 o'clock in the UK, 12 Pacific time in the US. Normally, got the dang time change right now, so we do what we got to do and we push it back. And yet, the Americans are the ones in here and not the Brits. We're trying to accommodate for people who aren't even here yet. Interesting times. But alas, we will go over. And I believe it was in Ireland with Anthony Cacace taking a 12-round unanimous decision, taking Jazza Dickens' 130-pound belt in his first defense. Cacace, I'd say he deserved to win, but wasn't like a landslide. I wasn't that impressed. It was kind of competitive enough, but it just didn't do a whole lot for me at the end of the day. It was okay, but Cacace did enough to win. I tend to think this makes any sense. He fought better when he fought shorter, but still tried to keep his length. Whenever he was more straight up and down, he was getting kind of tagged by Dickens, but as he squatted down a little bit more, tried to shoot from more straight level at Jazza, seems like he was able to find what he needed and won a good stretch of rounds, kind of in the middle to late, and that was that. Justin, how did you have it? Scorecards, fair, wide? What do you think?
I thought Cacace won. I have no issue with. I don't think you really could have gave it to Dickens. Maybe you could have. I think you said it would. If there had been a draw, you could have argued that. But I think Cacace won. I didn't really score it. I think 115, 113, 116, 112 is fine. I didn't have any issue with that. It's funny because the fight went exactly the way we all thought it would. I didn't think it would be a war. It was kind of just played out, and maybe that's why I thought it was a decent fight. I didn't get overly excited about it. It was an okay, because it kind of played out the way we thought it would. It was actually more fun just watching the drunk people in the crowd at times than it was. The fight was, it was decent. It was kind of what it was. I think each guy, this is their level. I don't think they're going to be able to go up much higher with their chance. I don't think Cacace's going to be able to beat any of the top guys at this weight, but hell, good on. What I like about both of them is I don't think either guy thought they'd even be in this position at this point in their career. So that was cool for both of them to be out there and make a little more money and do something that I don't think.
Yeah, we never thought Jazza Dickens would be a world titleist, right?
And we didn't think Cacace would be a world. We didn't think we'd see
Twice.
This fight. Yeah, we didn't think we would see this in 2026. So I think Dickens probably we'll see Dickens again. He'll keep fighting because he didn't like he took a beating or anything, and it's not like he looked bad. It's just that's his level. Cacace, he'll probably get a unification now. I'm not sure where he'll go. I think we talked about him a week or two ago. Who's out there for him? There's not much to say. It didn't really catch fire. It wasn't a war. Nobody got knocked down. There wasn't a lot of blood. There wasn't there wasn't a ton of toe-to-toe just slugging. Cacace was, I think, just had a little bit more to him, and that was it.
I kind of feel like Cacace might be squeezing down to the weight a little bit because you always feel like he could do a little bit more, but he doesn't. And sometimes that's just a guy worried about his engine.
Well, that's honestly, you can say that about every fighter. I guarantee every fighter squeezes it down except heavyweight. But you're right. Well, you're right. Yeah. He probably should be with his size fighting up a little bit. So you're right. He probably is having to grind a little bit more to get down to this weight. I imagine he is.
And honestly, that might have been the only thing that really separated this fight and the outcome was the fact that at the end of the day, Cacace is a plus-sized super lightweight, and Dickens is a minus-sized super lightweight for better sense of the word, where they're just kind of in the middle. But he's clearly the bigger man in there, physically stronger. And I think that was kind of what separated. I don't know if it was necessarily skill to skill, because at times I thought that Dickens, maybe even close to half of the fight, was outskilling him, but it wasn't enough.
I guess the best way I'm going to say this was a very good domestic level fight. But if you'd have watched that and didn't know a title was on the line, that's what you thought it was. This is a good level domestic fight. And then you find out a title's on the line and you're like, come on.
Yeah, the British
Maybe
title's on the line
Yeah.
in Ireland, but that's not the point.
Yeah.
But it would have made sense.
Yeah, it's like but when you tell everybody this was for a world title, that's when you're like, well, are these guys like world championship level? No, they're not. I mean, I'll be honest with you right now. They're not world title level guys in a good age. Just put it this way. They kind of are what they are, but it was a decent fight. People had it. I told you, people in the crowd, they had a damn good time. So it was all that mattered, I guess, in the end.
Yeah, seems like everybody was having a good time there. And, I don't know about that unification idea. I think they're going to try to find him some sort of I don't know, maybe somewhere between an easy touch and another guy who wouldn't get another chance to win a title.
But he's almost 38, though. You figure you would want to. You got to make that money.
Yeah, but who's he gonna? Who's he gonna?
He's not going to beat it. He's not going to beat him.
Yeah, he's not going to beat fucking.
It might be one we've heard in the past. What guys do is he'll probably be like, go with your route, but first they're going to throw out a crazy number, and if somebody takes it, oh hell yeah, we'll unify. Knowing they're probably not going to take it, and they're going to get to go the route they want to, but it makes them look good. And that's what I think. That's what most promotions are. It's let's throw a number out. We know they're probably not going to accept that number,
but if they do,
I get paid. Yeah, if they do, I get paid. So that's like, well, and I think you're right, Cacace. I guess there was a pretty good crowd there. So,
but yeah, it's just a matter of finding a guy who either they would like to get the title to because they can sell some tickets. Yeah. Or somebody that he can beat that's, within that number and they can still keep making money because he's not going to beat O'Shaquie Foster.
What weight was O'Leary?
What's that?
What weight was O'Leary?
That was 140.
Okay, that's what I thought. So I don't really know I got to think. I got to look it up now what weight who he's looking at this weight that he could, I guess you would say, not cherry pick, but would work out for your scenario. I don't really know. I had to look that up.
Because Navarrete has 2 belts now. And O'Shaquie has the other one. They're not beating either of those guys.
They're not going. I could see them trying to maybe bring Foster over. It would be the only way they would unify if Foster would come there. And I think Foster would.
Oh, he would.
Foster don't care.
There's a reason they call him Ice Water, man.
I mean, Foster went to Tijuana or whatever it was in like a high school gym and fought somebody. I don't think he cares about going on the. But
when he won the title against Rocky Hernandez,
yeah,
I don't stopped him in the 12th.
I don't think Cacace has any desire to go over to fight Navarrete, and so I don't think that fight will happen. Navarrete would definitely, I guarantee you, they're going to call Cacace, and they're going to want that fight big time because I think Navarrete might probably stop him. So they're going to want that fight.
Will Baheenan says could be. I'm sure I butchered your name. Will says could be Ryan Gardner, and I don't think that's a bad shout because. Well, let's be honest. That fight with Ryan Gardner last night. I mean, what was the fucking point of that?
Yeah, he's fighting in an 8-rounder versus a shitty journeyman. That made
not even like a guy with a sturdy chin who's going to give you rounds, or even stuff like that,
or even like a former world champion that had like 10 or 12 losses that you could kind of like. Well, this guy was at least the European champion, so we're going to bring him over. It was just some random dude that he beat down. If he gets a title shot off of that, that would be sad. But on the other hand, I think he's right. That would work in your scenario. That would be a guy they would sell some tickets. Cacace should beat him. I don't know. I just don't think they're going to go Navarrete, and Foster's going to have to travel. I don't see that happening. So you're right. Probably going to be some kind of domestic or some random dude we've never heard of.
Just the way that they used to do with like Warrington and shit. Just in Wood. Just try to keep the title with them, and if not, give it to another Brit. Kind of shit. Well, not another Brit in this case, but you know what I mean. Someone under their promotional banner. That fight. I don't know what to fucking tell you people about that one. It was a pointless waste of time, and we should all be ashamed.
Well, it wasn't the most pointless fight on the card, but it was the second most. We all know what the most pointless was.
What was that, Gary Cully?
No, well, yeah, but also it was the big heavyweight versus the fat sack of shit that he fought.
Oh yeah, the debuting cat. What the hell is his name?
Olanayan?
Adam Olanayan. Yeah, and he beat Jan Bazuska. Jan, who was 2-2 prior to the night, and that was just.
I know.
Jeez.
I get the debut thing. I get it. I understand
Homeboy
that.
weighed 301 pounds.
But you're bringing in, at least make the guy look like it's somebody that, hey, you know, he beat that guy in his debut, but the guy looked like a boxer. I think we make fun of this all the time. They really did go and just drag somebody off the street that had a record of any kind, and they brought him in there because I know you're looking for a good debut KO. You got him on TV. We get all that, but for God's sakes, put somebody in there that makes the win look. Or don't put it on TV. That was embarrassing. That guy should not.
Well, the fact that they're screaming and hollering like it's a big deal and he's some foursome, like he just like knocked over a drunk guy at the pub. What the fuck is the deal?
Like he was over there like cheering. His corner was jumping up and down. I'm like, y'all, you're pushing it too far now. You're challenging our intelligence right now by making us think that, oh man, that was a great debut win versus a guy that probably delivers groceries or something. I mean, that's just it was a bad look, but I'll say this, that Olan and O'Ri, he looks the part. I mean, he's got the size. He looks the part.
Looks like Andy Ruiz's European cousin.
Oh yeah, the guy. Yeah. But at least, like I said, at least Olan and O'Ri, he has the size. He looks like something you can build off of. We'll see, but
yeah, it was. I don't know. It was all right. The the fight that everybody thought was might have been better than it was, but I don't know. I think I stated as much as I thought Hughes was going to get stopped, but that was Pierce O'Leary, Maxie Hughes. 140 pounds is just too much for Maxie, and he's a skilled enough guy that I think if he had fought in just like survival mode and not tried to land anything in there, he might have been able to get the distance or close to against O'Leary. That's not Maxie. He tries to give you an honest night's work. Yeah. He was throwing punches and he was just getting tagged. And like I thought, it had nothing to do with skill, anything like that. He was just fighting a guy who was just substantially bigger and stronger than him, and probably is not ending his career at 140 pounds either, whereas Maxie, 135 was probably his limit. But sadly, not much to talk about in this one either, Justin. It was just a whitewash. It was not as bad as the Zepeda fight, but by any stretch. But the corner showed him mercy and realizing, like, Maxie lad, it ain't going your way tonight, kid.
Well, I mean, this is exactly how it was going to have to happen. We saw the beating he took versus Zepeda. We saw, like you just said, you knew he's a hard, tough bastard that is not going to sit back and try to go the rounds. He's way above his weight. He's a last-minute replacement. I mean, there was like he's on the road. Every single thing was against him. And what happened last night, exactly what was supposed to happen. That would have been, I don't see any way he'd have pulled that because he doesn't have the power. Like, the only way Maxie Hughes would have had a shot in that fight is if he had big-time power. He doesn't have that. So he had nothing going for him in that fight. It was a high-level sparring session, and you were just hoping he didn't get hurt. And that's all it was. O'Leary was just getting the rounds in. They getting a name on there, getting him out on St. Patrick's Day. It worked out exactly the way that those usually do. And Hughes probably took a lot more shots at this point of his life that he needs to be taken, but he can't help himself because that's just who he is. He fights. Yeah. He's always fought like a guy. He's always fought like a guy who has great power, and he doesn't have that kind of power. He's always kind of had that at times where he has this style that he just doesn't have that kind of ability.
Yeah, where he'll sit down on him.
Yeah. He can't. He's not sitting down on anything. Like, there's nothing. Nothing there. But O'Leary, I'll give O'Leary this. He did what he had to do. He
can't knock him for it. It just doesn't like show us anything, right? Like,
no, this was a good learning. I guess a learning fight. It was. He got to try some stuff out. He got to
fight in front of a whole lot of people on a big card. Take the event in. Yeah, that matters too.
They wrote it up exactly what they want to happen, and that's how it happened. This was the perfect scenario for them, and it worked out. It could not have worked. The only way it would have worked out better if he'd have flatlined him. That's the only thing that could have been better.
And I would have hated for it to go that way too. Like that would have been a shame for it to have ended like that, because there's some people who are just kind of like dickheads, and they're there for the paycheck, and they've never really done the fans right at the end of the day. And those guys, some of them, yeah, go ahead and like mop the floor with them or whatever. But again, Maxie Hughes, classy guy, never rips off the fans. Been on the wrong end of it multiple times.
And that was a good
he
corner.
deserved better than getting flat.
Yeah, and that was a good corner though.
Mm-hmm.
They knew. Hey, he's not going to stop. We have to end it for him because he's not going to let this in until he gets flatline. And I think O'Leary would have stopped him in the ring. I think he would have stopped him eventually coming. There was a lot left, and I think the corner finally. We have a good corner that was like, you know what, he's done. We're not going to let this go, because he would have been put on his ass if they had not have stopped it.
Yeah, it was just sometimes you can see like if you watch the sport long enough, and anybody who's listening to this has watched the sport long enough, I'm assuming to understand what I'm saying, because
probably too long.
Because you're hardcores, obviously, if you're willing to sit in here with us on a Sunday and have for years. But like when somebody gets punched by someone that like has like a big snapping shot, and they might be level in weight, give or take, it's different. Like you're like in a standing position. They catch you at the fucking point of your chin. The nerves just go poop on you from your chin down to your feet, and you get dropped like a fucking sack of potatoes. In cases like this, Pierce O'Leary's not a puncher like that. He's not big, huge, snappy. He was just physically much bigger than Maxie. So instead of that shot just, sending Maxie down to the ground, he doesn't know what happens. Instead of that, since he's bigger, it just moves him across the ring. Like that's what was going on last night. It was a bigger man moving a dude across the ring, and he just did not have the feet to make him look foolish enough to get out of the fight. But hey, Maxie, I mean, you've always given it good. That Barbosa's fight was still one of the crappier robberies in recent memory. You're a G, dude. Hold your head high. But let's see here.
If you want robbery, when people bitch every day about robberies, go back and watch that fight if you really want to see what a robbery is.
Yeah, that was a robbery. That was a robbery. Yeah. In a fight that wasn't a robbery, going to a split decision, John O'Carroll showing he still has plenty left in the tank. Split decision over Cole Murphy. I thought I guess the split was okay. The cards were a little weird. One of them was, I think there was two that were 116, 112, but they were going either direction. And then there was a 117, 111 in there. And I kind of feel like with the swing rounds and just the flow of the fight, like I kind of think maybe you could reach 113 or 115, 113 for Murphy, up to maybe a 116, 112 for Carroll. But what was most surprising to me, Justin, was like nobody was in the middle on that one. They were both like wide on the sides, like clearly like this is what we like to see in the ring kind of stuff. And that middle ground to showing like how close it was on one piece of paper just wasn't there.
I think you said it, because sometimes it shows in that card too. One judge definitely liked something else the other guys didn't. And it really sometimes comes down to not corruption, or it's just they really like something else that you don't. And it might be something simple. It might be the way he moved around the ring better. It might be that they liked something just a little bit that we couldn't see they liked. But I've got no problem with the card. I think Carroll was definitely brought in as the opponent and the name. But hey, Carroll's one of these guys that if he had power, he would have been a multi-time world champion. I think if he had like real legit power.
I think there's definitely funny enough, a little bit of parallels between the way he operates and the way that Maxie ultimately operated when he found himself successful.
They just need a little pop, just a little bit more, and they would have been like, especially because the engine they have and the way they go, just a little bit more.
Well, and both of them became cuter throughout their careers when they realized they didn't have the pop to turn the fight around. So they developed a little bit more cutesy techniques, moving around, pot shotting a little bit. And that was what really threw Murphy off last night, is just the fact that John O'Carroll was able to move around the ring so fluidly, pick his shots, and what throws off guys so much, and Carroll did really, really well, is when you don't pick one direction that you're going to move, and you don't move in any one direction for an extended period of time. You do those shifts. Oh, I'm moving left. I'm going to take a little bit of right there. You missed me. That kind of crap. And Carroll, he did it. I think, he on the power end, he probably was short of Murphy, but on the skills and the experience and just too deep of a chasm. I thought that Carroll won that personally. I just didn't think 117, 111 came close to telling the tale of the fight.
Well, you got to give Murphy credit. They definitely thought they were going to get it, and they definitely thought that it was the right time to step up. It's just sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. But Carroll, I think I always like Carroll just because of his beard. That's the only reason I always watch Carroll, because of his beard. That's it.
Yeah.
He had a good beard. He inspired me to grow my beard, honestly. He did.
Well, you far surpassed him, and now you're more in like ZZ Top territory.
No, that might be the stupidest thing I've said on this pod, but I will say it right now.
That is up there.
When he come out with his, when I saw him fight the first time with that beard, I was like, that's a damn nice beard. And I remember telling my brother, I was like, I'm gonna start growing a beard like that. And he's like, well, I said, that guy's got a nice ass beard. Boom.
Fucking hilarious.
That is it. Joan O'Carroll inspired me to grow my beard. He is my he's my inspiration.
God damn it. Fuck, now I'm thinking about ZZ Top. This is a fucked up time now. I'm thinking.
Yeah, I went well past his beard range.
You did.
But yeah, that was that. He was the one that made me think, you know what, I'm gonna grow one.
Yeah. Last night I saw a cowgirl. She was floating across the ceiling. God damn, I love me some ZZ Top. Anyways, but let's see here. What else was on? Was there anything else on that card we're discussing? Let's go back to.
I don't remember anything else.
I don't think I caught Stephen Cairns against Arnie Dawson.
I missed that one.
Yeah, that
must have been like the under card.
Yeah, I don't know how close that one was. Dawson was down 3 times in the 9th when they stopped it, so that could have been interesting enough. Owen, Eoghan, Owen Lavin, beat 9-0-2 Liam Walsh in there in the 8th round, the last round. Interesting. Yeah, I need to see what those cards were. They might have actually been kind of close, and maybe I missed a little bit of fireworks rocking on in there. Let's see here. Telekinesis Sports is Cacace versus Navarrete needs to happen. Man, if Navarrete looks as good as he did against Sugar Nunez, he's going to fucking thump that guy.
That'd be a hard fight for Cacace. I don't know how he would win. I don't know how he would win that fight.
And the one thing since I wasn't here for the podcast next day that I wasn't able to say, like the big difference in that fight is in what I think. Yeah, there was the style choices by Nunez early, and if he would have worked the body more, like it might have taken enough out of Navarrete that it went the distance. He still might have lost. But the big difference for me, I think, is that Navarrete finally got a fucking nutritionist after all of his foibles on the scales and shit. And he looked fucking great.
We're not, we don't say foul play and how he got there. We'll go with a nutritionist, but that's the best Navarrete's looked in years. He has not let, he hasn't let good in a long. That was
there's a reason I thought Nunez was going to beat him.
Yes,
beat him handily.
That was old school Navarrete, and Cacace. I don't think he has enough.
No, he would get knocked out by that Navarrete, and he would get supremely outboxed by Shock.
Yeah, and Navarrete that version of Navarrete Cacace is not going to be able to do anything with that version. Are you on mute?
Oh. Yes, I was. Our man Jimmy Happy asked him, "What's next for ZZ Top?" Well, their bass player died a couple years ago. Their bass tech replaced him, and they're still doing their thing.
ZZ Top fact: my dad has met them 7 times. He was their
that makes perfect sense.
He was a bouncer he was like security there 3 of their concerts, and I have 2 guitar picks from them because Dad used to do a tour, and they would come and do concerts for his setup he used to do. And so he got to stand there and just like guard people. He used to had to wear, they gave him a little jacket to wear and shit. Yeah.
That's ridiculous, dude. That's ridiculous.
Very ridiculous.
Anyhow, after the fucking podcast, I'm gonna have to pick your brain about that even more. That's fucking crazy.
Pick away. Dad, he was the security guard at about 15 or 20 different bands. He didn't know half of them. But he knew ZZ Top, obviously, but he didn't know half the bands that showed up. He was just there.
Was your dad like just a good old boy who like knew a bunch of redneck music and shit?
I remember this. I don't know if anybody knows the band Bush.
Fuck yeah.
Well,
16 Stone was one of the greatest albums of the 90s, man.
Dad called me the next day and he said, "Do you know a band named Bush?" I said, "Yeah, Razor Blade Suitcase." I said, "I remember that. That's when I was growing up. That was like my time." And he was like, "Well, their drummer's like 350 pounds." And then he said, that was the conversation. He said, "Well, their drummer's like 350 pounds and had no shirt on." And they said, "I'll call you later." That was it. I guess the drummer for Bush let himself go, apparently. But anyway.
There you go. Yeah. Apparently he's been eating more than Bush.
Yes.
But so move over to stateside, over to California, as far away as you can get in the contiguous United States, away from that was in Dublin, wasn't it? Yeah, I think that card was in Dublin. This was not in Dublin. This was in Anaheim. Headlined by Arnold Barboza Jr. and Kenneth Sims Jr. in a battle of the Hunyas. And I told you motherfuckers last week, for whoever listened, that Barboza was the pick here. When he was, I think he was more than 3-2 at the time. By the time the fight happened, he was down to 5-4 plus 125 for the U.S. audiences. And he just whitewashed Sims. Everything Sims tried to do, Barboza did better. A little quicker, a little better timing, a little better shot selection. And that was the fight. It was in a fight that was supposed to be at least closely contested, leaning Sims via the books. Total whitewash in favor of Barboza. Hopefully a few of you took advantage of that pick. I didn't even do it myself because I suck at life. Justin, what did you think about the fight?
I think me and you both picked Barboza last week.
Probably.
I don't think Sims is good at all. I remember, I think I told you, he's one of these guys in a better time period. We'd never see him on TV.
You'd see him on TV, but he'd be like a permanent fixture on Showbox.
Yeah, we wouldn't be seeing him in main event. He's gotten all these main events. I don't know why they keep throwing him, but like you said, Barboza was just sharpness times 10 versus him. He was just he was down the middle. He was crisper. Everything. He made Sims pay for mistakes. He was just better at a little bit of everything. Sims doesn't really have the power to turn it around. They promote him as like a really good flashy boxer, but Barboza is a better technical boxer than him. He might not be flashier, I guess, than Sims, but he's technically better. And he just ate him up. He was able to, he picked his spots better. It was a very good win. And we talked about it. Catterall is better than Sims, way better. And Barboza did the same thing versus Catterall. He's just a little bit sharper. His shots are a little bit straighter. And that's what happened last night. Sims just could not do a whole lot with Barboza.
And Tio's just a pure athlete. That's a totally different style than what Sims brings to the ring. You know, I'm not saying he's not athletic, but he's when he wins, he usually wins in a workman-like fashion, right? And again, like he's one of those guys who would have, if you would have kept him on a Showbox, a Friday Night Fights kind of thing, he'd be one of those cats that you'd see every few months, and he'd probably fight 4 times a year against guys who are undefeated or with 1 loss, and he'd probably come out of those years 500 or 1-3. He'd end up double-digit losses and shit, but he'd give a lot of guys a lot of good work. But Barboza is legitimately just below title level.
He is. He's B+.
Mm-hmm.
He's B+. Sims is like B
minus.
Yeah, and I was thinking that exact same thing last night, is that Barboza is B+. He's never going to be A, but he's a damn good what he is fighter, and there's nothing wrong with that. Sims is the next level. But Sims, like back in the old days when Showtime was rocking, we had the Charles guy was the announcer. Sims is one of those guys that you would have seen at a main event one time. He would have got beat up by like a Casamayor or somebody, and then you wouldn't see him again. We wouldn't have to keep seeing these guys get reshuffled, knowing that they're not this level, but they keep trying to push it down your throat that they are this level. They're not. They're just not. And
Yeah.
so now, Sims, I don't think we'll see him. He shouldn't be. I think the next time we'll see him is versus a prospect that they're trying to push over. I think he's finally hit. He's gatekeeper level now.
He's destined for Probox. His next fight will probably be with Probox, unless he's got a contract with Golden Boy, in which case, they'll probably do. Because I mean, look how many times they bring out fucking JoJo Diaz. They bring him out again last night, all the way up at 147 pounds against Alexis Rocha, who is apparently back to healthy again after his fight falling out in January. But I mean, Diaz, I mean, he's a capable guy with decent timing, but he's a fucking lightweight at best, and he just got fucking pasted over 10 rounds. He's got one of the better beards in recent memory of the sport. The dude, despite all of his drinking and fucking around and shit, he can still take a goddamn punch. But what in the fuck are you doing bringing this guy out at at welterweight? They say they care about their fighters, but
they don't.
Fuck.
Diaz is kind of like he's just their standby man for a lot of little weights in there. And he's been like that for a while now. Ever since he tried to pick up the underage girl, it's kind of been like this ever since that day. They just kind of put him here and there. But he won probably 2 or 3 rounds last night, and he won them clearly. It's just he doesn't have the size I think he has to pace himself more. And he can't stay on the front foot that long. And that's where Rocha, and every time that Diaz would have to step off a little bit for whatever reason, that's when Rocha would just take over. And Diaz couldn't do anything with him. But there was times where Diaz was hitting him and he was pushing the fight. He just can't do that for the whole 10 or 12 rounds versus the guys this big. And he just he can't do that. Not long periods of time. I mean, Diaz is probably 3-4 weight classes above his optimal weight.
I oftentimes thought he should have stuck at 130.
Yeah,
so, yeah, maybe.
But Diaz is just a tough ass guy that we're going to see. He's not going to go away.
Him and Kenneth Sims should fight next. Yeah. You want to fucking fight that's good undercard filler that might be a good style match? I mean, we're always up for good style matches. Yeah. Good fights are good fights. I think Sims against JoJo Diaz is a legitimate fight. But it makes Sims come down to like 144 or something for it. I mean, for this fucking
good God, Diaz can't keep going up. But you know what? I would not be stunned if we don't see him at like 147, 154 because I think they're just going to keep putting him because he's going to sign. His career definitely has not ended up where they thought it was. Because you remember we were talking about people were thinking different weight world champion. They were thinking.
They're thinking him and Mikey Garcia would have been at one point.
But they didn't realize that Diaz is decent. He's not A-level, and that he has a lot of shit going on in his personal life, obviously. And he doesn't have power. That always hurt him. He just doesn't have enough power. Because even when he was beating guys convincingly, they were always like hard fights. Because he just didn't have enough to put a guy away, and the guy could hang with him. Like I said, if he hadn't done that stupid thing, underage crap, he probably would have. They probably wouldn't let him get his ass beat. But we need to get Yimmy Yappy's dad on here because apparently he met Floyd Mayweather at Stonehenge.
Maybe Yimmy's dad and your dad need to hang out.
Yeah. tell stories about the road.
Also on that card, we had another title defense by Oscar Coyaso, beating Jesus Haro, who came in at 13-3, and Haro ended up quitting between rounds of 6 and 7. He had his moments. He's a quick little son of a bitch.
I was surprised. I was surprised he quit because he was. I'm not saying he was winning, but it's not like he was getting the shit beat out of him when he quit. When they stopped it. He was getting hit. But maybe they realized, hey, and that's a good corner. Maybe he said something, they saw something, and they were like, you know what, this is not going to end well. But when they pulled it, I was a little surprised because he was holding his own.
I think something to pay attention with Coyaso, and you have to watch down the line, but I think he's even though we obviously rate him as a puncher in these lower weight classes with what he does, I think he's a better puncher than we might even know, because this is 2 of the 3 last fights where a guy seemed to be having a little bit of success with him. And nonetheless, they're like, right around this time too, they're like, I think I'm done here.
I think he's probably
Jason, remember?
Yeah,
I mean, Jason was doing well, and then he just like, fuck this. I think his corner might have even pulled him.
I think he's a thumper. I think his shots hurt.
Well, when you're 105 pounds, you're not going to be concussed.
That's what I think. I think that's what it is. He's an accumulated guy. I think they hurt, and then after like 5 or 6 rounds, they'll be like, man, this shit hurts. You just don't want to keep taking it, even though he's not like knocking you out hard. It's just too much. It's like getting hit with a sledgehammer slowly over a long period of time. Eventually, you're like, fuck, I don't want to keep taking that shit. That shit hurts. And I think that's what happened last night. His corner probably realized our man is not going to be able to take this much longer. Let's save a little. I mean, I guess you could say, I always say this. This is me being dirty. I would never quit in my corner. I would tell my corner, let me go out and I'll just pretend I'll take a shot and just go down and fake I got hurt. And then I'll look good. Don't pull me out. Maybe let me save some face, roll around on the ropes. Oh God, I'm hurt. That's the way to do it. Fake it. Don't let the corner pull you out or take a knee and quit. Just pretend the shot really hurt you and lay on your stomach like, oh, he knocked me out.
It's not a bad idea.
Think about it. Would we be talking about you as a quitter if you just went down and couldn't get up?
No, just like, hey, you just took one too many.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But you're always going to remember it as a guy who didn't want anymore. Just fake it. Just pretend the shit hurt and don't get up. That's the kind of strategy I be teaching my guys. Hey,
exactly. If worst case scenario, shit hits the fan, just do what all the women have done with Tommy throughout history and fake it.
Yeah, just go down. But shit, I can't. Or fake a knee injury. Shit, tore my knee. Anything. I mean, I'm telling you, it would look a whole lot better on you. Like Dubois. If Dubois had just laid on his back instead of going his knee in a couple of fights he quit, you wouldn't say a word. Oh, he just got hurt. Shit happened. Yeah, I'm telling you. That's just me. You got to save face a little bit without anybody knowing.
Yeah, that's not a bad way to do it. I think a lot of times, I mean, they're fighters and they're not thinking that hard. They're afraid that one last shot's going to be really meaningful and they're going to regret it, like $1 Million Baby style. Well, I mean, she had her head on a fucking stool, but
still the stupidest fucking way to end a movie. But anyway, we'll move on from that.
Yeah, let's see here. That's a good movie. Let's see here. What else do we have on there? Justin, you might have not watched this one, and this is all I got on the card. Gabriela Fundora, as I also predicted, beat the shit out of the 43-year-old midget put in front of her. And after 6 rounds, the referee decided that was enough. And anyone who hasn't seen the fight, there's a camera angle of the end of the fight in like the last, 5 to 10 seconds in slow-mo. But like you see the face on this gal, Viviana Ruiz Corridor, as she's getting knocked around. And she just looks like she's in absolute fucking distress the whole time. Like she looks like she's fucking watching the Titanic hit a fucking iceberg. She's like, no, and yeah, it ended pretty predictably for the poor gal.
Well, good on her going as long as she did. I mean, she's a mother of 5, isn't she? I mean, she's got to worry about her kids and
something like that.
Yes. I mean, what is she, a 43-year-old mother of like 3 or 4? She shouldn't even been in the damn ring, to be honest with you. But I'll give her this. She went for it. I mean, she was tough. She just
landed a couple of good shots. It just doesn't matter.
I actually did watch some of it. I kept it on. It was in the background while I was doing something else, but I technically watched it because I do like Fundora to a point, because in her fights, out of any, I mean,
she fucking goes for it.
Fuck Clarissa Shields. Fuck all these women boxers. There's a good legit chance in her fight somebody get knocked out, like a real chance, not a 10 or 12, not a 10 round. That there is a shot that somebody could get knocked out. That's why I do kind of half-ass pay attention to her fights, because it could happen. And she's probably the only women's fighter right now that has that going for her. I think she's the only like legit knockout artist or knockout type puncher in women's boxing. I might be wrong, but I think she might be.
There's a few depending on. Fucking what's her bucket? I can't even think of her goddamn name now. At 168, she can punch a bit if she gets you at the end of her shot.
Juanita Johnson.
No, the gal from Patterson, New Jersey. who lost to Franchon. But anyways,
Oh, I know you're talking about.
yeah. She can punch a little bit. And Amanda obviously in her prime was more of a puncher than she is now, moving up the weights. But yeah, I mean, she's the banger right now of the division. And I was talking with Joe Kennedy in the chat there. I think you probably caught this, and finding her a legitimate fight's going to be really tough. Like, I don't necessarily know there's anybody south of her that does anything. I guess Bermudez could be interesting if she wanted that one to some degree. But I think she's going to have to go up all the way to 118 before she finds a shot, or excuse me, a real fight. The first person I saw on there that I'm like, I think this chick could give her a little bit more of an interesting scrap was Shernika Johnson at 118.
It's unless
we know you like Shernika Johnson.
Yes,
we all like Shernika Johnson.
Yes, I do enjoy Shernika Johnson, and definitely just for her boxing skills. But I don't think there's anybody that's going to be able to stay with her unless she just gets crazy with the weight. I think she is probably the most skilled boxer I know people like Katie Taylor, but Fundora is like getting better every single time. And I just think that.
Well, yeah, she's an undisputed champion in
the
age where Katie was still competing in the AMs.
Yeah, there's going to be nobody that could compete with her unless she gets crazy with the weights. And even then, she could go up to 125, 130. These girls still not going to be talent-wise as good as her. They might be bigger, but I don't think that's going to matter in women's boxing because they still can't punch.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. It's tough for those tall people and seeing how they fill out if they become better punchers or not when they move up, and that's like frightening. The idea she could actually be a better puncher.
She's good now. So I don't think unless
Ali Scottney would be. I wouldn't just jump into a fight with Ali Scottney. I would work up towards that in the weights. I think that one might I think she beats Johnson, doesn't knock her out. But I think Ali Scottney gives her a real fight.
I mean, she's probably gonna have no choice to jump because there's no depth.
No, that's why Michaela Mayer is talking about going all the way up to fight the Guot.
Yeah, you've got to headhunt because what else choice do you have? And of course, the Guot will make it out like she beat somebody her exact size and prime because I can't stand that woman. She is a great women's boxer in an era of nothing. It's like when I don't get on that story. You call yourself great. Call yourself great when you're beating moms of 3 and 45-year-old women and people we've never. That's different. Anyway, I could go on that for an hour and a half. That just still bugs me.
Yeah, that fight with the Zern, it didn't look like two athletes in there. That's how I would sum up that fight. Sadly, I mean, despite how athletic she performed, you gotta be fitter, for lack of a better word.
Because I would say if she was in, I say women's boxing 15, 20 years from now should be 10 times better than this. Should be.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be. It's gonna be. The talent pool's gonna stack up.
I don't think Carissa Shields would be undefeated during a good age because
she's going to be remembered as some of the pioneers in the sport and on the better end of it. Like right now, like the women who have built the sport, and I'm sorry we're taking this detour, and I know it's not your topic, but you got to give some credit to Christy Martin, even though she really whenever she fought more capable fighters, she kind of came to it, but she did well on those king undercards.
Yeah.
Obviously Layla Ali. Layla was a badass. She knocked chicks out. She was fundamentally sound, not slappy like a lot of this shit. Layla was fantastic.
And Wolf.
Yep. That knockout over what's her name? Vonda Shepard, I think was her name. That's eternally going to be one of the best knockouts in boxing. I mean, she just.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised that we haven't seen Ann Wolf training anybody because she was a pretty good trainer.
I think Ann might be too fucking vicious.
I the only thing I can think of because she actually, I mean, it was now brutal training regimen, but
they beat the shit out of those guys.
But her guys. She had results. I'm surprised that she hasn't come back. We'll see Roy Jones Jr. training a 1-0 British guy, but we don't. But Ann Wolf, we haven't seen her come back I guess she just doesn't.
I think Ann is a little bit too what's the word I'm looking for? One-dimensional in what she trains for. She tries to train tough guys to get in your face and load up
But
shots.
still, I figure she would
But
come up out of we would see her
yeah,
I mean, we would have seen her eventually. I think pretty much that's
yeah,
it. I mean,
maybe.
she
She's
could
just not. Maybe, but she's just not enough of a skills coach.
no.
And the tough thing about a lot of this, and let's not do too long, is like you got to think like getting sparring and stuff like that is tough. That's why you hear a lot about these chicks sparring guys. It's because they can't get anything, and if you can't have a gym with a lot of women fighters, because the ones at the top tier ultimately end up fighting each other anyways. It's a fucked up scenario, but like you said, in a generation it'll change.
Yeah.
But let's see here. The fight I didn't see on there, and I wish I had because I want to keep an eye on this kid, is Yoel Irarte took out Rock Dodler Myrtle. What a name that is. What you think about that one? I want to keep an eye on him. I think Irarte might be something.
It's hard to tell from his opponent Myrtle, who really did give a lot back. So, but I'm like you. I like Irarte. That was I don't know what you describe that fight. It was just another fight you got to go through because Myrtle didn't offer a ton. He wasn't. I don't think he was. I don't know. It's hard to judge off of that fight, but I do believe it's time that they're going to have to step him up from fighting the Myrtles of the world in his next couple of fights because that guy he wasn't bad, but it's time to click the notch a little bit.
That was his the 10th fight of his career.
Yeah.
So
it's a good fight for the 10th fight. I guess we'll put it that way.
Yeah, dude was 17-2-1 going into it.
Yeah.
So yeah,
definitely a padded 17-2-1 record.
It happens. It certainly happens. Yeah, and that was all I think worth mentioning on that one, unless you saw something else that you think is worth touching on.
I don't see anything else.
He saw nothing else worth touching on. All right. And unfortunately for Justin, he is still the only thing he has not watched so far.
Actually, I'm in the 8th round of it right now. I've been watching it while we're talking.
Oh, right on. Well, you just keep on watching, and I'm going to talk about this, and you should know what goes on by the time I'm done. But Najee Lopez and Manuel Gallegos on a Probox card engaged in what is probably the fight of the year up until this point. Both of them trading big shots, hurting each other all throughout the fight. It's one of those fights where it's kind of hard to dissect particular moments and shit like that.
Just ended the fight.
There you go. And just so many good shots landed by both guys, making little adjustments to land big stuff. And it wasn't necessarily a huge lot of skill on display. These guys were just hammering it home. 7th round, Lopez was just going to town on Gallegos, and Gallegos snuck one in on him, which sunk Lopez to a knee, first knockdown. The rest of that round was a really good one. Could be a contender for round of the year. And then in the 8th round, Lopez found a few shots, and he was able to hurt Gallegos bad. Gallegos basically hurt for the entire round, got pushed back into a corner and just worked over. That was the end of it in this light heavyweight contest. But Najee Lopez moves on undefeated. Manuel Gallegos moves on to other fights as well, because although both guys are going to need a break after that one. Please don't get them moving in too fast. No one's gonna miss seeing these cats in the ring again. They're worth your time for sure. If absolute entertainment. Anyone who hasn't caught it, you don't need to go through a paywall. You don't have to deal with stupid fucking streaming shit and ads coming up in your way and stuff. Right there on YouTube.
And YouTube's
delivered again.
YouTube's even cut the main event for you. So all you gotta do is just click on it.
Yeah. What do you think now that you got through with it? That was a hell of a fight.
That was probably the best Probox fight I've seen, or top 2 or 3 at least. That was Lopez. You got to give Lopez this. His eye was fucked for a long time.
He got cut in by a headbutt in like the 2nd or the 3rd round.
And we've seen Gallegos before. He's been in a couple of fights like this. This is kind of how he fights anyway. This is kind of his style. So the referee had no choice to stop that one because Lopez, it was about 10 or 12 unanswered right to his face.
Yeah, and as he slumped down into that corner anyways, I don't know that Gallegos was getting up. He was in pretty rough shape over there. It was a rough bruising fight.
That's going to take a little bit off your career for both guys because
your
eye got cut. The cut, not just the cut, but Lopez took a ton of shots. He went down in that fight, twice? I think twice. Yeah, so he went down. That was a war. But once again, like you said, free and good matchmaking. This is not rocket science boxing. It's not hard to have good matchmaking and not have to charge anybody for it. You just have to want to do it. Simple as that. You just have to want to do it.
And if they keep kicking out stuff like this, consistently, they deliver fairly good cards more often than not. I mean, sometimes fights are stinkers. What the fuck are you going to do?
It's going to be Zuffa box sooner or later.
But if they can keep doing this, I mean, at some point in time, like they're doing this with the, on the different free streaming channels between YouTube, Fubo, and some other stuff. But it'll get to a point where they could probably offer some sort of a premium package, and give you a couple of better cards.
I'm telling you, if they get away from this model, it's done.
Well, we'll see. We'll see.
Every time anybody gets away from the model they're doing now, somebody's going to come in, start backing on money on the end. We're going to see. I tell you, I get what you're saying, and that would be great. But me and you both know if Probox gets better and keeps getting better, Zuffa, whoever the hell it is, somebody's going to come in and buy them out. Polly and them will sell. They will. They'll probably tell Polly, hey, we'll let you do some announcing for us. They're going to sell it out. I wish they would just keep it the way it is. But me and you both know this run with Probox is not going to last a whole hell of a lot longer before either they get bought or it just completely gets changed for some reason. So we just need to enjoy it now because it will not be like this in a few years.
I don't know. I don't know how much money they could be making or losing based on what they do. Like, I have honestly no clue. Like how much
they can't be paying that much, though. I wouldn't think can't be paying them much.
No, I don't think so. But I mean, you still got to think like all of those personnel and shit like that. Like you got to be talking into the six figures.
Yeah. They usually keep in the same base for most of it. I think when they do go to Mexico, they don't travel. They just use the people down in Mexico and they just get the feed.
Yeah. They've been moving around a bit more though, because one was in California.
So I think they save money on that because they're like, I think they're probably cutting costs with the promoters of like, hey, you put on the show and we're going to show it. I think they've been doing that a little bit recently on some cards. Is hey, we'll kind of cut all this together. Mm-hmm. We're going to show it. We're going to cover it. But you're going to have to cover like these expenses. And I think that does save them a lot of money. But we just know how boxing is. It's just not going to last. I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, I just don't know, but something will come up, good or bad. But this little formula won't last. It just won't.
If they won't, I'll tell you what, and again, we're taking a side street here. If I'm among the people who want to compete with Turkey and Dana and Turkey and DAZN and everything that they're doing, what I would do if I was Gary Jonas is I would go to the guys at PBC and I would say, what I want us to do is bring some of your prospect guys into our model, and we'll continue doing shows as we do at these costs. But what we'll do is we'll try to funnel them into your events so we can try to do this talent building that's not happening because of the lack of dates, and feed them into your system. And they work out some deal how Gary Jonas will be able to profit properly on that. Maybe he gets a chunk of PBC or something like that. But what they're missing is the prospect building kind of show.
They're missing Showbox.
Yeah, and Probox has built that perfectly.
And they're missing Tuesday night and Friday night fights. They're missing those type shows where you went into it knowing they could be good, they could be bad, but I'm going to see a prospect, so I have the expectation of what I'm going to watch. And we liked it. I mean, look at it was, and every once in a while they would throw
you get a title fight in there, Randy.
Yeah, they throw you a bone. Oh, who's fighting for an IBF title on Tuesday night fights? And they would throw you a little something. They should do that. We know what they should do. If they all started working together a little bit more, Zuffa would get destroyed. They could not compete if they wanted to. But ego and the fact that, well, I'm always got this slice of pizza this size. You're not going to give me a smaller piece. That's ego too. It's like, well, I have to get this. Well, that's the problem. You have to be able to take your pride and suck it up and say, hey, I'll take a little less money if we work together so we can all make this happen and we'll get it back eventually. But no. And like I said, Probox, I would say what's going to happen is the Probox is they're going to get bought. Somebody will come in that thinks, hey, like you just said, maybe they'll have the idea that you had. I'm going to use Probox as my.
Yeah, if somebody gets paid $7 million to Jesse Vargas for whatever the fuck he did, like how much does it cost to fucking buy all of the Probox? Fucking,
it could, because you're right. If I was like Top Rank or I was Eddie or anybody, at least get in with Probox and say, hey, I'm not trying to take over. I like the way y'all run things here, but I want to be a partner. I want to be a part of it. And like you just said, use my fighters. Here's some of my guys. Could you take each week and you have 2 or 3 of my guys come out and be a part of it? And that would be, God, that'd be beneficial for everybody, but they're just not going to do that. They've shown they're not going to do that.
Yeah, and it's ridiculous. And the Amazon model, I mean, still it seems like they're putting out like 4 events a year. All of them are pay-per-view, basically.
That's a shit. That absolutely was all lies. What they said they were going to do. That they have not done anything they said they were going to do when PBC. And I still can't believe PBC is still, I guess they're around, but not really. I mean, like they can't have much left either before that's got to be done. Like that's got to be just because they're just a waste of space now. They're not producing anything. They're just done. I don't. We all see. They're another company that we said was going to end one day. It lasted. I mean, it lasted a long time, but we knew it was going to go down. It has. They're never coming back. They're never going to get a second wind and all of a sudden get going again. So they're done. Top Rank, God knows what the hell Top Rank's future plan is going to be. They'll probably, I wouldn't be surprised if Top Rank, see, that's the thing about it is Zuffa's not going to work with anybody, though. They've made that clear. We're taking you. We're not working with you. So it's not like Top Rank can say, hey, we're going to work with.
Yeah, it's the UFC model.
Zuffa has no desire to work with anybody. So Top Rank's only choice is to work with Hearn or Warren or just try to find another network or you know what? Pack it up. Sell out to Zuffa and get rid of Top Rank forever. There's not a ton of options left for them. It's either work with somebody or quit. They don't have a lot of choices right now. So, and I do believe when Bob Arum officially dies, I mean, the man looks like he's been dead for a while now. But when he officially dies, I think we'll see the end of Top Rank. I think they'll sell it off.
They're struggling so much right now. Like MVP got a deal to show their female fighters before fucking Top Rank.
I think it's probably one of those deals. They don't want to sell it while he's alive and let him see his company get sold because, I mean, the man can't have much time left. And when he's gone, it's sad, but Top Rank is done. I think once he dies, they will sell off Zuffa, DAZN. Somebody will come in and buy, pick the bones and buy the little things off of them, and then they're done. That's the end of them.
It's the end of an era. It's a fucking turning of the fucking page.
HBO started it. Showtime went with them. Top Rank's coming next, and then that's it.
And it all traces back to spending way too much money on fighter purses.
Yes.
And Zuffa's going to do the exact opposite. They're going to overcorrect. And it's all a matter of what exists in the middle that can survive, because paying people that much money is obviously not a platform.
I kind of like this. I don't mind the Zuffa thing that they're correcting the purses a little bit, but like you just said, they're going from 100 to 0. I mean, they're like you said, they're going extreme far the other way because purses are too high. They are. I mean, they just are. People, Tyson Fury, these people getting $30-40 million for fights is too much. And Zuffa, I get what Zuffa's saying. We're going to get rid of that. We're going to cut that. And I agree with that. But boxers signing for them better be prepared. They better hope there's other boxing companies out there, because I'm telling you, you're going to get tired one day of getting hit in the face and getting paid 50 times less than what other guys do. That's not going to last.
Yeah, it's not. And we'll see where it ends. There's going to be a few good fights along the way, but I think boxing's going to kind of be a bit in the dumper for the next year. Just my thought, but we'll see. the good stuff coming up. Enjoy it.
Yeah, because this is a transition period. I don't care what anybody says; they can go shove it up their ass. Boxing. When people say this, I get mad to a point. Boxing's not dead. It's never going to die. It's just there's going to be bad, good. Right now, we're like you just said, we're hitting a bad transition phase because we're going through a power struggle right now that we haven't seen in a long time. That could get bad. It could get good. We don't know. But let's just play it out. And like I said, it's not going to die. It's just, we're going to see it in a different animal if Zuffa gets all the power, which they'll never get all the power. It's just not going to happen. Boxers are too fickle. They're too all out there to think that Zuffa, the arrogance of them to think that they can control boxing and they can control every boxer in boxing is insane. These guys they think a little bit differently. The managers do a little bit different things. You're not going to be able to just completely take over like UFC did. That will never happen. It's just boxing is a different animal.
Yep, that it is. But yeah, let's wrap up this Probox card. I'm trying to see what else here. I'll tell you one I don't know if I paid enough attention to have a huge opinion on it, but a lot of people were complaining that the Dominic Valle win over Eduardo Ramirez was a robbery. And although I'll say the scorecards were pretty fucking ridiculous at the end of the day, I kind of think it's one of those things where a lot of people are giving too much favor to the guy coming forward. He was a bit slappy with the inside of his gloves on some of the shots, and Valle did a fairly good job of pot shotting here and there. I don't think I would have argued if Ramirez had won a close fight, and I think that the cards should have been more reflective of that. But I don't know. I feel like Valle could have won like a 96-94 fight, in my opinion.
He's another guy he's a pro box lifer. He's a day one guy.
Yeah, he's been on there. Yeah,
he's a day one guy, so he will get the extra benefit if you want to call it that. There's nothing special about Valle, either one of the Valle boys. Honestly, with you, you're right. I watched about half of that fight, a little bit off and on, and there's nothing special about. He is a slapper. He doesn't. He's not. He don't turn over his shots a lot. I don't see a high ceiling for any of the Valle boys. I think a lot of these Pro Box guys, there's only a couple, and I can't think of their name right this second, that might be world champions, but most of them are just going to be really decent guys. And that's about it.
Yeah,
and there's nothing wrong with that either. Hell, not everybody wins a world title, and there's nothing wrong with that either.
Well, and that's the thing about building up things up through these prospect cards. You get some good, well-matched fights throughout it. You kind of separate folks out, and you end up with a couple of champions throughout it. I don't think Najee Lopez is completely out of the bounds of winning a championship once Beterbiev and Bivol are gone.
No, maybe not.
And I still think that what's his name, Daryl Volsaint, the Blast. I think he could be a champion potentially too. I think it kind of the word is still out on him. He has to have a few more fights, but ultimately, yeah, you're just kind of working through it. But you look at some of the guys that they've had who have gotten opportunities and done well. And I'll tell you another guy who, under the right conditions, could win a title is Ramon Cardenas. He it's just he had to go in against Inoue, and it was what it was. But I think people focus too much just on the fact that he knocked down Inoue with that good left hook. He did a lot more in that fight than that, and he's a capable guy. He's very capable fighter.
Well, you just said it. He would have probably beaten a lot of other world champions that night. It's just he went against the best.
Yeah.
And that's what happened.
Pound number one. Boo-hoo.
Yeah. He would have beat a lot of the other guys around those weights that night. He just went against the best.
Yep. So, and I'll keep watching because I'll do it. And there you go. Another guy who is a Pro Box alum got a chance at a title, came up short. Brandon Glanton, right? They've had a lot of these dudes that they've had go through their through their ropes. So yeah, good luck for them. An interesting fight on the undercard there with another 175 pounder, Dante Benjamin taking a unanimous decision over Angel Lozano. Lozano he was tough more than anything. And Benjamin, I don't think he had to get out of first or second gear in that one. And the question for me, speaking of Vi, these two could be a good match down the road. I'm curious what Benjamin has if somebody pushes him, or if he just doesn't have that extra gear to be able to pull something out. I mean, on basic look, on some of the things he does, he could be a really solid fighter, but he's just cruised through these fights a little too easily without having to really show himself. What do you think of the fight?
I didn't get to see that one. I'm
Okay.
gonna take your word on that one.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I'd like to see Benjamin against Najee Lopez, honestly. And then there was an upset with undefeated Christian Chessa, excuse me, at 115 pounds, losing a majority decision to Delvin McKinley, who was 13-5-1, but has been in a rebuilding process after really getting thrown to the wolves early in his career. This was an entertaining 6-round fight, and I'd be kind of curious to see McKinley come back after that. Because that record doesn't indicate at all. I don't think he's a world champion, but he's going to give some guys some work in there for sure. So, that was the world of boxing this last week.
Except for the Japanese card.
What did I miss in the Japanese card?
You missed all of it.
What? No, what? I didn't even watch it.
Oh, you didn't watch the Japanese card?
No.
You missed, there's 3 world title fights on that card.
Please tell.
Oh, so you had the retirement of Nonito Donaire, who that's got to be it.
Oh, I thought that was coming up this.
No, that was this morning.
Oh shit!
Did
Nonito lose?
He got stopped.
Oh shit!
Yeah, he got stopped. They threw the corner. They threw the towel in like the 8th round, I think it was. He was taking some. He got cut, and then he was taking some pretty big shots, and then he got knocked down. And his corner jumped up with the towel and looked at the referee. And then somebody sort of grabbed the jacket of the corner man for Donaire. I think it was his wife, and was like, "Stop, don't throw it." And the referee looked at him like, "Are you going to throw it or what?" Donaire got up, looked at him, put his hand out like, "What? Are you going to throw it or not?" And then the round ended. So they let him go back out, and then they stopped it. I think that the referee let him take a couple of shots, but
that's so sad.
No way Donaire should be fighting. The guy he was fighting was not
sad.
The guy he was fighting was 9-1 with 9 knockouts. But Donaire should have never been fighting anymore. He's not the Filipino Flash anymore. He's well past that. But that has to be it. He got stopped. I mean, he took a lot of shots that he did not need to take. And so that was I wouldn't say sad, but it was like, come on, man. You shouldn't even be in here. And he actually got to walk second. He was like the A on that A fighter.
Yeah, they're giving him the respect that his name deserves.
They were pushing him, and he just it's done. Then you had Olasquega. He punished his guy. That's another one of those brave corners, because the guy he was fighting was 12-1 with 2 knockouts, and that's not enough to keep Olasquega off of you. And he just kept coming, and finally punished him enough for they had to stop it. The guy's face was so swollen that he had the Frankenstein forehead.
Yeah.
And swelled over his eyes. Like it was they let him go like that. It was everybody involved should have stopped that fight. Referee, everybody should have stopped that before it got that far. Then you had CP Freshmart he fought Awata, and Awata actually looked good and beat Freshmart. They stopped the fight because of a cut, but Awata was winning most of those rounds. So that was the end of Freshmart, who actually went by his real name. They introduced him as Freshmart, but then they kept calling him by his real name,
which is a lot to say.
It's like Nia Yang Ming Bang Gang, whatever the hell it is.
There's a lot of syllables.
Yes. Then you had I think it was a title fight, Matsuzuka Makutha, whatever his, I can't remember his whole name now. He looked pretty good in his decision, but it was I can't believe you didn't watch the Japanese card. But.
Oh man, it's time changes me sleeping later and shit. Always fucks with me. So yeah, that's interesting. Olasquega is a good fighter, man. I
like him. He's in the Rudy Garcia camp, and he looked. That's the best I've seen him, because Imura wasn't bad. He just beat him up.
Yeah, I'd probably take Olasquega in a rematch with Kenshiro, honestly.
They keep bringing him back over to Japan, and he just keeps pounding these guys. I mean, they might want to bring. They might want to quit bringing him over because I honestly think this time though he was the favorite. I don't think they brought him over thinking Amora was going to, because Amora just does not have any pop at all, and Olasquega was better in every single category than Amora was, and that's. I mean, go back and just look at his face. And poor, like I said, poor Donaire, that has to be the. And I like Iwata because Freshmart was like 29-1. He's not a bum. He's a good fighter. And Iwata definitely did a lot of good things in that one. But Donaire, come on. He should have. I mean, Donaire's been going for what, an extra 3 years at least now that we thought he should have retired. I mean, he don't need to. He's turning into like Roy. If he don't stop, he's going to start turning into Roy Jones stage. I mean, Donaire's what, 42?
Yeah,
43. He needs to give it up. I don't know why out there. I don't know. Is there something we don't know? Is there something behind the scenes? There's no reason that a future Hall of Famer, and he will be a Hall of Famer, Donaire.
Oh, he's one of the easiest fucking picks.
He needs to give it up because he doesn't. You don't need to pull Roy and lose 3 or 4 fights in a row and then get knocked because this is it. And having to kill yourself at that age, going against a young guy who was there to make a name, it did not. None of that was going to work out.
Yeah, that's a shame. He was always one of my favorite fighters, and he'd been competitive even in losing in these higher in these title fights recently. But this is the end. He went one too far. And
because this guy can actually punch. You could tell on Donaire's face that this guy was really hitting him. This wasn't like, I don't think this was, yes, the age was involved with Donaire, but this guy I think could legitimately hit, could bang. And that's not what you need to be in when you're 40-some years old versus a young guy that actually can pop. And so, but it was funny. If I'm the referee, once you jump up there with the towel and you start waving it, that's it. You don't have to throw it. He was waving it, and it was just weird that everybody was looking at him, and the referee was like, "Are you sure?" Like, was like pointing at him, like, "You sure you want to do this?" No. Once that shit is in the air, that's it. If I'm a referee, I don't care if you have to throw it technically. Once you start swinging it, that's done. I mean, yeah. So they let Donaire take about 8 or 9 more shots he didn't have to take when they should have just stopped it right there.
Yeah. What are you gonna do? I guess, but
that was a pretty decent card. There were 4 decent fights on that card because Japanese they always deliver. It's always decent cards. It never fails.
And they fight for fucking honor over there.
And they're competitive and they're usually for some kind of title. And I'll still say this: Japan has the coolest belt. Fuck Zuffa's belt. As anybody go and look at the Japan, like their domestic title belt, it's got like the samurai guys on it.
Fuck yeah.
It is the coolest belt out there. The Japanese belt is by far. I don't give a shit. The WBC makes that stupid shit they make and all that crap. That is the cool. I would go and get citizenship in Japan just so I could fight for that belt. It is a really cool belt. Are you on mute?
Yes, I am, Justin. Yeah. Yes, I am. Get to some previews here. Go to Belfast on Friday. And this one's going to be Mick Conlin against Kevin Walsh. And I'm trying to think if I've seen Kevin Walsh fight. He's an undefeated American, 19-0, 10 knockouts from Massachusetts. And I'm trying to think here. Let's go through a couple of names on his record that have a decent record and see who they fought. He beat Ricky De Los Santos in February of last year when De Los Santos was 12-1. Let's see here. Who else is? Let's see here. He has also been stopped by a guy named Jason Vargas. And he has not fought since losing to Walsh, and he in those wins that he had over people literally fought nobody. So that tells us nothing. He fought Tremaine Williams and won a split decision. Williams was 20-2 at the time. I swear I know Tremaine Williams off the top of my head a little bit. See here. Yeah. He fought Angelo Leo at one point in time. Yep. And he lost to Elijah Pierce, He's a good fighter. Then he lost to Kevin Walsh. That isn't a bad victory there, honestly.
Those aren't bad losses. I mean, they're not the best, but they're not bad losses. Leo's not a bad loss. Elijah Pierce at one time was
Yeah.
considered a top prospect, so those aren't bad losses.
So yeah, this guy's not going in there with like no real experience against Conlin. It's his record is a little bit flat. Not gonna lie to you there, but
The big thing is if he has any power, that's where Conlin has to watch out for.
Yeah, he seems like he hits a little bit, but not huge. He's got 10 knockouts.
That's why he got picked.
Yeah, but Conlin could get knocked out by non-punchers.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I guess that's the issue with Conlin. You really can't. You don't want to put him in versus a savage, but everybody's going to be dangerous unless he goes against like a Najee type guy.
Yeah. Yeah, so we'll see. It's at least it's at 126, and Conlin's not kidding himself that he can fight up towards 130. That was ridiculous. On the undercard, undefeated Neil. I think it'll probably be pronounced Neil because it's probably not pronounced Niall. Brown, Niall. I'm trying to think. I've seen this cat before. Is taking on Darren Johnstone, who is 12-1 at super middleweight. Johnstone has one defeat on his record, and that was to Mark Jeffers mid-2024. He has basically beat nobody. He's fought a whole shit ton of journeymen. He's one of those guys who has beaten 3 dudes who have more than 100 losses. So that is what Mr. Johnstone is bringing to the ring. And also Kieran Malloy taking on Xavier Conlin. Malloy undefeated. Conlin is 15-2-1. Let's see here. He has lost to 5-5-1 Nika Bigvava. Well, that's a rough fucking outing.
Yeah, that Big Bob is pretty good though. That was his record's deceiving.
Yeah. Yeah, he
has that's a bad loss for a 5-5-1 guy.
Yeah, he has a draw with 37 and 3. Merriton Caraca. They went 10 rounds. At least he has 10-round experience. You can say that about him. And that, yeah.
I think Malloy will have an easy time with that.
And then he fought 15. He lost a decision of 15-0. Balaz Backsky. I'm struggling here, people.
I think it's like Balash. I think it's like Balash.
Yeah, Balash. That's probably
makes more sense. I don't know if it's ball ass, but
ball ass.
Balash.
Yeah, I'll have to go back and see how the announcer. But yeah, that should be a reasonably easy outing for Mr. Malloy. And I apologize for saying Eastern Europe. That's Western Europe. That's from the Netherlands. So we wish Mr. Conlin all the best.
I'll watch the Conlin fight. I don't think I'm going to put a lot of effort in the undercard.
I don't know.
That is a deep prospect undercard. It looks like. I think I'll just watch Conlin. I don't think I'm going to put a lot of effort in the undercard.
Yeah. I mean, it's just what it is. We got, and then we're gonna have another Probox card. They have an event every weekend this month, and it's going to be featuring comebacking after that draw with Christian and Billy. Lester Martinez coming back, taking on Immanuwel Aleem. I think there's there's an interim strap on the line, so that's going to be over 12. Speaking of Probox delivering title.
God, when's the last time we saw Aleem?
Yeah, I'm going to go back and tell you that. Let's see.
Isn't he the Manuel, the Dream, Aleem?
I believe so.
I believe that. I would say. You remember he was an actual prospect like 10 years ago.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. So
did he sign with Don King too? I think he's one of those Don King guys.
That might have happened.
I think he is.
So basically, let's see. Going from his fight, he had a fight in 2017 that he lost a stoppage to Hugo Centeno Jr.
Yep.
Then he had a win against Juan de Angel. He had a draw against Matvey Korobov. I forgot about that. A majority decision loss to Ronald Alice. A majority decision loss to Amilcar Vidal Jr. I think he was an Uruguayan fighter. Then he beat 7-16 guy, Malcolm Jones, who doesn't have a great record, 17-3. Vitaly Gubkin, 10-4. Had a technical draw with Winford Harris, 22-2-1. and then had a rematch with Demond Nicholson, who he had a draw with in 2016, and in 2025 he was able to stop Demond in 9 rounds
Demond
instead.
Nicholson.
Yeah, so that's a little bit of a better fight for Martinez than I thought. Maybe. I mean, I still think Martinez probably overwhelms him. I mean, he's such a fucking beast.
He should beat this version or any version of Aleem, honestly. But he should. Aleem's record is all the gatekeepers: Ronald Ellis, Demond Nicholson. They all fought each other.
Yeah, we kind of see where he's at level wise. Gonna have undefeated Joshua Kevin Anton against Kedra Tilo Abdikakarov. Yeah, I remember that guy, Abdikakarov.
Yeah,
Abdikakarov.
I remember
Yeah. And yeah, he seemed like he gave a little bit of good account. That could be a good one for a prospect. 12-1-2 Anthony Cuba against Jair Valtierra, who's 18. 3-0. It looks like he has a no contest on there. I don't know if that was on him or the other person. So yeah, that's going to be your Probox action on Saturday. Always worth it to see Lester Martinez. I think he beat Billy, and the fact that was a 10-round fight was a fucking joke. Still bugs me to this fucking day, but what are you going to do? And then that evening also we're going to have a DAZN card, which I think is actually worth turning into the main event. But Omari Jones is going to be on there too against Christian Gomez. Omari Jones, a real good looking prospect. Jonas Tejas on there. Terramona on there as well, over 8 rounds, probably less. But the main event, Carlos Adames versus Austin Williams. It's an interesting fight, and I think it's a fight, Justin, where it's going to prove the adage that triangle theories in boxing do not work, because Hamza Shiraz had a draw, which probably should have been a loss to Mr. Adames, and he has a victory over Ammo. And people will say, well, if you think Adames beat Shiraz, you probably would have to think that he's going to beat Ammo too. I'm like, no. Shiraz is such a tall, lanky fighter, and what Adames did is he got underneath a lot of what he was able to do, and then got over top a lot of what he's able to do too. And he fought the role as a smaller fighter very, very well. His fight with Ammo is going to be a little bit more evenly contested on the physical dimensions side of things, and I just feel like Ammo's going to have a lot better time punching more straight out from himself than up, and dealing with a guy with such long levers when Ammo's not necessarily a kind of duck and under kind of guy like Adames is. So I really think last week my underdog pick of the week was Barbosa against Sims at almost 3-1. I like Ammo.
I'm 60-40 Adames on this one. Just because
I can dig it.
Just because every time Ammo steps up, it's just not there. It's just not there. And this might be his last legit shot. I mean, it really might be. Eddie Hearn has done him a lot of favors and kept getting him out there and getting him out there. Then I think about myself, I've never been impressed with Adames, but he looked really good versus Shiraz. But was that just because Shiraz was dead at the weight? Was it a style
Shiraz
match?
like way better at 168.
So was it just like that one night for Adames? Because I don't think Adames is incredible. I don't think Emma Williams is that great.
In any other era
he got killed.
of the middleweight division, I'm not saying he would have gotten killed, but Carlos Adames is not a champion.
All right, let's put it this way. Let's put Adames versus a prime Hopkins at 160, or he would have not even been able to go. I think Adames is decent, but that's it. That's what he has. I just think that I don't really rate Williams that much. I don't think Williams is that great. I mean, put it this way. It might have been last minute. He looked like shit in his last fight versus Winfrey or Williford, whatever the hell that guy's name is. What's the guy that he fought, the dude's name? But he looked like shit. I thought he looked terrible.
Wendy Toussaint?
Yeah, Wendy Toussaint. I thought he looked like crap. And Toussaint we know what Toussaint is. I think he's a below average gatekeeper. I don't even think I wouldn't even put him as a high level gatekeeper. And Williams struggled. That was a labored 10 rounds that I never thought should have gone that far. He had to really dig deep and battle versus. I just think Adames, the confidence from the Shiraz thing. And I just think Adames. I'm going with Adames stops Ammo Williams.
Adames stops Ammo is where Justin's going.
That's where I'm going with that.
I think Ammo wins. I'll give you this about in favor of Mr. Wendy Toussaint there is the fact that he the only losses on his record are other than to Williams were to undefeated guys. He has 4 losses, but the combined record of the people he lost to is 38. So that'd be 57-1-0.
And we can sit here all day and talk about Wendy Toussaint is below average. He's not any good. I've never been impressed with him. He's a tough dude. Let's put it this way. Maybe that's why he lasted so long. But it just seemed to me that Toussaint wasn't doing anything. He wasn't doing anything. Williams just labored. It's like, I can't explain it. It was way too big of a struggle than it should have been for a guy to get ready to fight for a world title. I don't care about last minute replacement. That fight was a struggle. And I've just never been impressed with Emma Williams. I know him and Glanton are on your Mount Rushmore of fighters. And I know you love Emma Williams.
They're those fighters where I kind of like what they bring to the ring, and in eras of particularly weak divisions, they could be titleist.
Yeah,
like an Adames.
But I just think Adames beats him. I just think he's better, and I think I just think Adames knocks him out. I don't know why. And I'm also like this. I don't give a shit if I'm wrong or right. I don't care. I still think Ammo Williams was a little bitch for when he beat that guy up, when he picked on that little kid in sparring that time.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, I do remember that. I remember bitches. I remember bitches, and I remember him being a little bitch. So I hope Adames. That's why I'm kind of like, well, it'd be great if Adames did knock him out, but I don't really give a shit either way. I mean,
okay.
Not much. And Terramana, whatever his name is, he's years. Let's put it this way: that guy he'll be exciting, but he's years away from being legit. Years away. But they shouldn't worry about it. Let him get 20, 25-0 and knocking out random dudes. But he's a long ways. He's like the New Zealand Deontay Wilder.
Oh, he doesn't punch like that.
No, I'm saying like that kind of guy, like that. He's not skilled, but he can punch pretty hard. And I think it's what he is. He's a poor man's New Zealand's poor man's Deontay Wilder. Put it that way.
Or maybe he's a poor man's David Tua.
God, David Tua would have ripped his face clean off. That's why I always like David Tua was just another guy. Wrong place, wrong time.
Oh, yeah.
Wrong place, wrong time.
Yeah, well, it's kind of tough for him because he was in a weird position because I don't think that he could have beat Vlad. I just think style-wise, I think that was just a fucking nightmare for him.
And Vitali would have hurt him.
Yeah, it is just kind of one of those things. Like he was just in this like period where there was always going to be a couple of guys who just had his number. Yeah. I mean, like running into a young Ika Biabuchi. I mean, what a tough fucking route that is.
Prime Lennox Lewis. It was just the wrong guys at the wrong time for the Tua man. I still love David Tua. He was one of my favorite guys ever to watch because that guy just brought it. Remember when he the one that killed Muskayev, or that was he didn't kill Muskayev. Was he the one that not killed Muskayev, or was that Rockman that killed him? Who's the one that
Muskayev didn't die?
No, I mean he might as well. I mean his career died. Let's say that.
I think it's Rockman.
Rockman, the one that absolutely obliterated him on that one shot.
Old legs Muskayev. I remember that fucking nickname.
I like Muskayev, but he was another one of those guys that he was too old when he got good. And you're right, he didn't have the legs to kind of compete. Anyway, that is the one era of boxing that I could probably write 7 books about is late 90s, early 2000s heavyweights. I know extremely too much about that era of heavyweights. That wasn't the best. It was pretty good, but it wasn't the best. But I know way too much.
Yeah, nobody should know more than 3 facts about.
I could have a 30-minute conversation about Kirk Johnson. the Canadian guy.
You shouldn't, but you.
I should. I can't. I know way. Let's get Sam Peter back out here. I know way. Hey, I have a frame now. This is what's sad. It's an on-site poster of Moskev when he fought Sam Peter, and it's called Tijuana Heat or some shit like that. I got it in my room. But yeah, so I have too much shit going on. I just enjoyed, for better or worse, I just enjoyed that time period of Meat Hands, Cali Meehan, all those freaking guys. Still the great name, Cali. The
yeah, but I
mean,
like at least talk about some of the good guys,
No,
like Corey Sanders.
No, yeah, I can't help it. I always rooted for the random ass guys that were like maybe not A, but they were right. Yeah, like somebody said, yeah, Dominique Gwynn. I have a signed Dominique Gwynn glove.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
I have no idea what's wrong. It's sad. Let's move on. That's another podcast for the sadness of what I own or what I enjoy. Like let me go back and watch these old 2000s heavyweight Ty Fields on Versus.
Hi, Big Sky Fields
on fight. Remember he was like fighting on versus like some random guys. I was like, but Monty Barrett. My God, I have seen like 15 Monty Barrett fights. But he's from North Carolina, so that I give him that.
Yeah, you get that excuse. God, that fight poster against Valuev made me gross just looking at it back to back with that hairy back son of a bitch.
That had to be an advantage. That had to be an advantage because you didn't want to lock up.
Ugh.
You didn't know. Remember the sweat that was like hanging off his back with the hair. God, that was the rough dude. I would have made him shave. I'm like, you know what? If guys got to shave their beards, you got to shave that shit off.
He probably fucking smelled like vodka and BO.
I'll put it this way. He did more in his boxing career than he ever should have.
Yeah, well, especially because you want to talk about one of the fights, there were fights that were obviously a bigger robberies or weren't as close. People could complain about. It's the fact that Holyfield was fucking robbed of becoming the oldest heavyweight champion.
79-year-old
goddamn time. He totally won that fight.
He outboxed him. He just outworked him.
In and out. Oh, God, it was fuck. Oh, he looked great. He looked great for a guy that age.
I don't think Valuev hardly touched him.
No, he didn't. And then the Hay fight, it was basically Hay just did what Holyfield did, but he did it as a younger man.
Yeah.
But he was also way more cautious than Holyfield was. Like Holyfield was like fucking getting in there and shit. Like, and Hay was just like standing 8 feet away, like, can't touch me, you slow fuck.
I think Holyfield gave Hay the blueprint. Like,
oh yeah.
You could beat him. We're just gonna tweak it a little bit, and you got this fight easily.
Yeah, you're either way away from him or you're right in his chest. Yeah, everywhere else is a bad place.
Yeah, because he had like 7-foot-long arms. So you could that's the thing about Valuev. He didn't have great power though. He had, but not like he was just
because he had no speed. He'd make Joe Joyce look like Shakur Stevenson.
God, could you imagine that fight, Valuev versus Joyce? The speed that would have been the slowest fight in boxing history. I always think about this is sad too. These are not dream fights, by any stretch of the means. These are just fights that I always thought would have been curious because how shitty they would have been.
Yeah.
So, like, let's put Valuev versus John Ruiz.
Ugh.
Because John Ruiz, all he did was hold. Could you imagine him holding that hair because all John Ruiz did was hold. John Ruiz would punch and then he would try to grab you. That would have been a nasty, awful fight. Like you just like that. Some of these would have been. Let's put Ty Fields versus Valuev. That would have been a circus type fight.
I think he knocks out Ty Fields.
Oh yeah, Ty Fields a strong wind.
He was trash.
He had no chin. Anyway, we'll start doing that. We'll just start doing heavyweights of the early 2000s podcast. A lot of people enjoy that.
Justin's peyote corner. This is what I thought about last time I went to the spiritual land.
Special guest Kurt Johnson. I know he's not doing anything right now. So we might as well get him. We might as well get him on here and see what's up. Let's get him back out here to get going again.
He always misnamed him. I used to think it was Kirk Franklin, but that was the fucking gospel singer.
Because my favorite heavyweight when I was a young kid, until he embarrassed me, was Michael Grant.
What did he do to embarrass you?
He embarrassed me. The Lennox Lewis fight was an embarrassment. I really, truly thought this guy's it. We've got something. He's going to be the man. and then he fucking went down like a sack of potatoes.
Yeah.
And then they started yelling at Teddy Atlas because he said he wouldn't sweating, so he wasn't warmed up enough. And Teddy Atlas tried to jump over the ropes to go after oh, who was it? Was it Larry Merchant was talking shit. Was talking shit because he said, well, he come in really dry. And Teddy Atlas like, you don't think I know how to train a fighter? It was funny as shit. I don't know if that's shit I remember because Teddy Atlas was like, I've been doing this for 30 damn years. And all this other shit. And Larry Bird's like, well, he was still dry. That was funny. We'll move on. We'll move on. I can go all day about this crazy shit.
That's funny. Actually, I think that's about all there is.
I think that is all there
is. Yeah. We've covered cards from all across the globe. We've previewed cards from all across the globe. We've discussed ZZ Top and obscure late 90s and early 2000 heavyweights. I think that we've done everything we can today. So, yeah, I hope you folks have enjoyed this discussion between Justin and I. Hopefully we get a couple of the boys back next week. But until then, you folks have a good one, and we will be back here next Sunday to talk some Moses Atoma and some Sebastian Fundora against Keith Thurman action. Looking forward to that particular podcast very much, and the one after should be a good one. But you folks have a great week ahead, and we will see you next time.